Bit of a weird one, I think, this episode, and probably a bit of a horny one, judging by the title alone. We're checking out The Curious Dr. Humpp. This is a 1969 Argentinian sexploitation horror film directed by Emilio Vieyra. Might have butchered that name, not fully sure. It doesn't look like he's done anything that I recognise, really. It looks like he's mainly stuck within the exploitation bracket, focusing on horror and westerns as well. But yeah, nothing that really stood out to me as something that I'd either heard of or seen before. Same with the people who star in this. Nobody really stood out as doing anything that I've ever seen or heard of. A bunch of people who've only done this as well. So, as you'd expect with this sort of thing, to be honest. No idea what to expect from this one. I know nothing about this one completely. Hopefully it can live up to the ridiculousness of the face on the front cover. But who knows? Let's take a look, shall we?
And let the lesbians share one room. I want to observe them. This one will need more stimulation. Have they reached climax yet?
Twice, Doctor.
Can they stand another extraction?
The girl can. She's still strong enough. That poor man's got nothing left now.
The plot follows Dr. Humpp, a mad scientist with an army of brain-dead slaves, who kidnap couples or groups of people by the looks of it, and perform experiments on them by making them really horny and getting them all to bang. Then Dr. Humpp extracts the juices from this and puts it in a serum so that he can live longer, basically. So it's up to a reporter and a policeman to try and put a stop to him before he enslaves the entire world. It sounds bigger than it actually is, I guess. It's pretty boring for the most part. It starts off at a crawl and it never picks up for the entire hour and 27 minutes. It just doesn't have much going on or much to say. It's got the pacing of a B movie from the 50s. Yeah, and obviously it's a 60s film, but it definitely feels like something from maybe a little earlier where things were just a little slower. But there's nothing really much to show outside of a bit of flesh, unfortunately.
It's here, somewhere in here, that I'll find the nerves that control the libido. Now, I dominate sex.
Okay, let's start with the dubbing for this then. So, yeah, the main version on this disc is a English dub of this film, and it's not a great dub, if I'm completely honest. It's very flat, kind of boring. It's like, yeah, it's not bad enough to be hilarious. It's just kind of crap. And the characters aren't very fleshed out or developed, which is a bit of a shame. And then on top of that, you've got these like motives and characters changing sides, and it all seems quite like jarring because they keep switching about and plot events happen, but it doesn't feel natural in how they're doing it. There's just not much really to latch onto in this thing, I guess. Obviously, there's a ton of softcore porn in this as well. You don't see much, and the main issue with it is that there's probably just a little too much of it, I guess. I get that that's the whole point of this exploitation film, and I understand completely that it is within the plot of this film, that like it isn't nonsense that they're having sex. It's just, it is important to the story. It's just that maybe there's a little too much of it, and it does kind of kill the pacing sometimes, especially when it just goes off on one. And yeah, maybe more time spent figuring these characters out, figuring the story out a little bit, would have been a better use of the time with the film, really. But I don't know, I guess I'm not watching this as porn, I'm watching this as entertainment. And I mean, nowadays I don't know why you would watch this as porn, but yeah, as far as entertainment goes, it's a little boring, unfortunately, in that regard. I do like the masks, however. They're trying to play them off as sort of realistic, but they aren't in the slightest. They're very campy and stupid looking, and I like how they look. And then you get things like a brain in a jar that talks. Could have done with a bit more of that, I think. More of the weird masks, the silly faces, and the brain in the jar that talks, because, yeah, they were the best parts of this film, for sure. It's not a badly put together thing. The black and white's quite nice. The camera usage is pretty good. Decent angles. The editing's fine. There's the odd little bit here and there that just doesn't quite work. But it's not the majority of this film, luckily. The music isn't amazing. It can be a little jarring. More so because it's repetitive and sometimes it just doesn't really fit within the scene. So you're like, oh, why the fuck is this music playing for this chase scene? It doesn't fit right. But it's not the worst thing you're ever going to hear in the world. I think the main issue with this film, the main takeaway is that I just have a feeling it's going to be super forgettable. I reckon in about a month, I'm going to have pretty much completely forgot what happens in this film.
She's ready. You're making her become excited.
I'm doing it to her. I can't stop screwing her.
Now permit your look.
Dr. Humpp is on the verge of a great breakthrough. In his hands, sex will dominate the world. Try to stop him and you will die.
So I mentioned that I watched the dub version of this film. So what this is it's actually a US re-edit of this film. It comes in at 1 hour and 27, and basically what it's done is it's added in the dub, which isn't great, the music, which I wasn't a fan of, and then a lot more of the sex scenes. There's like group sex scenes, like the lesbians and just a group of kids. And I noticed it pretty early on, actually, because the quality of the camera is very different with these added scenes. It's basically the stuff that slows the whole film down and feels like padding that's being added. I'm guessing the Americans watched it and thought, you know what, there's not enough, like, what's this film trying to do? It's trying to be a sexploitation. There's not enough sex, let's cram some more in and dub it for the Americans and re-score it and all that sort of stuff. And honestly, I don't know, I think a lot of my issues with this film come from this re-edited version. Fortunately, on this disc we do have the other version, which is called La Venganza del Sexo, which means Revenge of Sex, and it's in the original Spanish, and there's a few differences actually. Yeah, the music is less in your face and it allows a little more time for silence and quiet moments, which I always feel that builds tension maybe a little bit more and adds more of an atmosphere sometimes than just blasting some orchestral music at you. The Spanish seems to fit a little better. I'm guessing the line deliveries will be more natural. If you're not a fan of subtitles, then that might be a reason for you to not watch it, but I love subtitled films, so it doesn't bother me. But you also get things like the opening credits sequence. Instead of just being like shots of things, it's like these like illustrated things. It's quite stylized looking, and I don't know, I think it suits the film pretty well. If I'd have started this film with those credits, I think I'd have been like, oh yeah, this actually looks pretty interesting. Now don't get me wrong, I think all these changes aren't going to save the film. I think the main thing though that might is the fact that it's shorter as well. It's 1 hour and 22, the original cut, so 5 minutes shorter. But I think outside of it just being a slightly tighter experience, I still don't think it's going to be an amazing film. It's still a stupid story that's just trying to show you various sex scenes and then Silly Little Monster Men. Now, that might sound fun and entertaining, but 5 minutes difference to me doesn't scream a whole lot different, really. I don't know. But it's there anyway, and it's on the disc, and it's probably the better way to watch it if you are going to watch it, the original cut. But that's not all that's on this disc, as we have a little featurette of short films, apparently, so let's check that out. So this bonus featurette is titled Brain Damaged Shorts from Dr. Humpp's Laboratory, and it is 22 minutes long, and it comprises of 5 trailers and 1 short film. So let's start with the trailers, because I don't really have much to say on them, really. They're all for similar types of films from a similar type of era, really. You get like sex cult films or sex killer films, and then there's a trailer for this in there as well, so you're only getting 4 unique trailers, really. The only one that really stood out to me was The Deadly Organ. Looks a bit like a Phantom of the Opera knockoff with a crazy mask. Outside of that, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like gonna rush out and find any of these, to be completely honest. So then we have 1 short film, and it is called To It May Concern, and it's directed by, let me double check this, W. Merle Connell from 1950, and it's a sort of what you'd expect from a 1950s comedy short, really. We get the tall smart guy and the short dumb guy, and these two are in a museum. The short dumb guy splashes some water on the mummies, and they do a bit of a sexy dance, and it's meant to be a bit wacky and a bit silly. I don't know. I like older comedy. Big fan of like the Marx Brothers, Three Stooges, stuff like that. These two reminded me of Abbott and Costello, and I've never really watched much of Abbott and Costello, and what I have watched I'm not a massive fan of, and I know that might be controversial because I know that they are quite beloved. They just never really did much for me personally. And yeah, these feel like just a rip-off of that. I got one laugh when the dude was crying over his banana, and then the rest of it was just pretty weak, and then it ends with a pretty dated joke at the end. The weirdest thing is the fact that this is on this disc, honestly. I don't really know why they included just 1 short film, and it was this one. Seems like a bit of an afterthought. Oh well. The featurette overall, it's more of a trailer reel than anything, more like the hardcore trailer reels or the Vipco trailer reels or something. I don't know. It's not worth buying the disc for exclusively or anything like that.
And they're hooked by the fiend behind the mask.
Now what's the matter? I told you to slow down.
Somebody eat my banana!
Okay, time for the print then, and honestly, it's not too bad at all. It's probably one of the cleanest ones we've seen in this AGFA 101 collection, to be honest. It's stable, there's not too much filth or grain or dirt on the screen. Yeah, the black and white looks nice, the contrast works. Pretty clean and nice print, to be completely honest, for one of these films, really. And on the disc, we get pretty much what I've mentioned already, really. We get the US cut, we get the original cut of the film, we get the featurette with the trailers and the short, and then we get a audio commentary with Frank Henenlotter, the guy who did Basket Case. And I swear he's popped up on one of these before, honestly. Maybe he's got something to do with AGFA or something weird or something like that. Or maybe he's just a big fan of these films and wants to talk about them. But yeah, bit of audio commentary as well, never hurts. Right then, case time, and yeah, it's fine really. The cover's striking, and to me anyway, it sells the film. You kind of need to use this weird goblin man's face, don't you, in order to sell this. Yeah, I don't mind it. There's a reversible sleeve again, and the alternate cover is a little dull, really. Yeah, not massive on it. The runtime is off on this one. The films are either 87 minutes or 82 minutes, but it says the main feature is 77 minutes, meaning that probably it's 10 minutes off, which, yeah, that's not great really, is it? The extras runtime is correct though, with the original cut of the film and the featurette combined. Yeah, turns out alright. Outside of this, the information seems to be all correct though. Although, calling this film a rite of passage might be a little hyperbolic. Overall then, yeah, it's not great. It's just a little too boring for its own good, doesn't really build up any characters or a decent plot, and just spends most of its runtime going, hey, look at these tits. There is another cut on this, the original cut, which does look like it might be slightly better, but I still don't think it's gonna save this film. I still think that this film is gonna be just a little crap, a little boring. I wouldn't recommend this film. If for some reason you are in the market for it, which fair enough, this version is pretty nice though, the alternate cut, and you do get a few special features, although that featurette isn't much. It's nicely presented though, this film on this disc. The restoration's nice, it's clean. It's a decent way to own this film if you do enjoy it or you do want to see it. But yeah, it doesn't get a recommendation from me. So, bit of a disappointing one, this episode for me. Next episode though, I believe we are sticking with the wacky silliness. Hopefully this one is a little more, has a little more going for it than the last one. Judging by the cover, it looks pretty out there. This is one of the ones that I remember spotting in HMV before I decided to buy the collection to do the reviews. The cover grabbed me and the stupid title grabbed me. So, let's see if it's any good. Next episode of AGFA 101, we will be checking out Sometimes Aunt Martha Does Dreadful Things.